Let's look at Anthony Ryder from South Lyon, Michigan, recently selected as the Lions 2020 Fan of the Year. He has a passion about sports broadcasting.
With the 112th selection in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver, USC. One pride, baby! Yeah!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, yesterday we talked about this edge rusher class extensively. We went through and graded all of these edge rushers. We went through and ranked all the edge rushers in the 2022 NFL draft class, with the exception of like the guys that will go in the 7th or undrafted free agency. But for a large majority of the edge rushers, we ranked them, we put them in tier lists, and talked about which players were the best and what players the Lions should potentially be looking to draft. But edge rusher is not the only position of need in this year's class for the Detroit Lions, and a lot of people would actually argue that there is a bigger need at the number 2 overall pick and in this class in general, and that would be the safety position, right? The safety position is one of the weakest and one of the least talented positions on the Detroit Lions team right now. Yes, Tracy Walker is a very good safety, but Will Harris is not. Juju Hughes is not. Brady Breeze is not a great safety. CJ Moore is a great special teams player. He is not a great safety, and that is their entire safety room, right? Work certainly needs to be done to the safety room for the Detroit Lions, and I think a lot of work could be put in this year's NFL draft. So today we're going to be doing exactly what we did for the edge rushers, and we are going to be ranking these safeties player by player, going down the board, talking about the best values, talking about the best players, and talking about the best fits for the Detroit Lions. So with all that being said, and without any further ado, let's get right into taking a look at this year's safety class and see who's the best player for the Detroit Lions. Now, tier 1, very similarly to yesterday, are the guys that I believe will be Pro Bowl, like perennial All-Pros, guys that I think will be top 10 at their position in the league at some point in their career. And just like yesterday, there is only one. Kyle Hamilton, to me, is the best player in this class. He is 6'4". I know his 40 time isn't super impressive, but his range on the field is absolutely elite and outstanding. I mean, he had 8 interceptions and over 16 passes defended in his college football career at the safety position. I mean, he just made defenses, or he made offenses pay over and over and over again. He elevated a honestly not very good Notre Dame defense to be one of the better defenses in college football and propelled that team to be a top 10 program in the country. Without Kyle Hamilton, I genuinely don't know if Notre Dame finishes the season ranked, and I don't know if you can look at college football and say there's a more impactful defensive football player than what Kyle Hamilton provided to the Fighting Irish. Now, Kyle Hamilton is my very clear safety one. He is the person I believe the Detroit Lions should draft with the number 2 overall selection. He, in my opinion, is the perfect combination of size, speed, athleticism, IQ, tackling ability. He is the total package. The only real downsides I've even heard about Kyle Hamilton are the fact that he can't cover a slot receiver and his 40 time. Those are the only 2 arguments people have against him, because you have to have something against Kyle Hamilton, right? You have to have a reason not to put the safety in the top 5. That's your reason. He can't cover slot receivers. He runs a slow 40-yard dash. Those are the only arguments against Kyle Hamilton, and neither one of those things is concerning to me. Kyle Hamilton is the best player in this draft, in my opinion, but that does not mean he's the only talented safety in this class. Tier 2 are the solid starters, so the guys that might get a Pro Bowl, might, be a huge impact player for the defense, but probably won't at any point in their position be a top 10 safety in the NFL, right? They might reach that top 20, top 15, but they likely won't ever be a household name or an NFL superstar like Kyle Hamilton or Harrison Smith or, Tyrann Mathieu, guys of that nature. Now, guys in this list are guys that are going to go, or now guys in this tier are players that are projected to go around beginning of the 2nd to late in the 2nd, right? Somewhere in the 2nd round, maybe the early 3rd round. And there are a couple guys that I think are very, very underrated. Now, not every safety is on this list, by the way, just before I get really deep into the tier, as the Detroit Lions really don't need a box safety. Tracy Walker is a great box safety, and even Will Harris can play that position fairly well. They need a deep coverage free safety. So I kind of left out guys like Jaquan Brisker because he is more of a box safety. He played around the box a lot more than he played deep. And because of that, I just don't think systematically he fits the defense that Dan Campbell is trying to build. And I don't think he fits the scheme that Aaron Glenn wants. And I don't think he fits the position that the Lions are looking for when they're searching for their next safety. So that's why he and some other box safeties are not on this list like you might expect, because quite honestly, I just simply don't think that they fit the system very well. Now tier 2, again, are guys that I think will be full-time starters day one and be big impact players for the Detroit Lions. This includes Lewis Cine, who took 536 coverage snaps a season ago, and from what I've seen, has really good instincts and very good speed. He didn't put up a lot of production in college, but his combination of speed, instincts, and his tackling ability are all things that I love of him at the safety position, and I think he is the second best safety in this class for the Detroit Lions. Although he's not the only safety in tier 2, as I believe Kirby Joseph, the 6'1" safety from Illinois, is not very far behind. Having a 90.4 PFF grade a season ago on 440 deep coverage snaps, Kirby Joseph came away with 5 interceptions and even more passes defended. He was one of college football's best deep ranging, and even though the team he was on was not a very good one, and even though the defense he played for was not a particularly special one, Kirby Joseph in particular showed out on a defense with very few superstars. And the third player in tier 2 for me is Verone McKinley, who took 569 deep coverage snaps a season ago for Oregon, came away with 6 interceptions. He is only 5'10", but he is a playmaker, and he is somebody that I believe will be a big impact player at the next level in a very similar way to his teammate Javon Holland did this season in the NFL, being just a breakout rookie who takes the league by storm day one. Now, tier 3 are guys that I believe will start out on special teams, but will eventually develop into starting caliber players for the Detroit Lions, kind of in a similar way to how the Lions developed Tracy Walker into the starter that he is today, right? He was kind of a rotational safety and kind of more of a special teams guy in year 1, even being a 3rd round pick. But once Glover Quinn retired, once Quandre Diggs was out of the building, Tracy Walker really stepped into his own and looked like a really good safety for the Detroit Lions. And this is the career path I see for tier 3 of the safeties. Now, tier 3 is started off by Nick Cross, the safety from Maryland. Maryland has a very good history recently of putting out safeties like Darnell Savage and a couple of other guys into the NFL, and Nick Cross is no different, having 420 deep coverage snaps, 3 interceptions, and having 4.34 40-yard dash speed. He is somebody that can cover a lot of ground, he can make up a lot of space, and he can come away with some interceptions with his ball skills in the NFL. I think his tackling ability and his 4.3 speed are going to make him an ace on special teams early, and I think if he can develop his instincts just a little bit, he can be a very, very solid starting free safety alongside Tracy Walker. And I feel the same way about Sterling Weatherford. Sterling Weatherford is a 6'4" safety from the University of Miami of Ohio, running a 4.59 40-yard dash. Now, I have seen a lot of comparisons in recent days comparing Sterling Weatherford to Kyle Hamilton. Now, to be totally honest, I have not watched enough of Sterling Weatherford to say whether or not those comparisons are true, but to me, I find it very hard to believe. I don't find it hard to believe that he's a good coverage safety. I don't find it hard to believe that at 6'4" on a 4.59 40-yard dash, he is not a good coverage safety, that he cannot make up some ground, and that he cannot play a similar role to Kyle Hamilton. But in my opinion, playing at a much lower level, playing against much lesser competition, I just simply don't see it. And I do think the 40-yard dash is different, even though you might say, okay, time-wise, they're very similar 40-yard dashes. I don't know what his on-field speed looks like. I don't know what his game speed looks like. I haven't watched enough of Sterling Weatherford, but if he looks anything like Kyle Hamilton, he could be an interesting pickup in the 4th or 5th rounds of this NFL draft. And then JT Woods ends this tier as he is the last player in tier 3. 6'2", 4.3 speed, 8 interceptions a season ago as a deep fielding free, 8 interceptions over the past 2 seasons as a deep fielding free safety for the Baylor Bears. He is a really good player, and I think he actually reminds me a lot of Tracy Walker coming out of college, right? A kind of a bigger guy, longer player, came away with some interceptions, I mean, just a very, very good player that I think is going underrated, but I think will eventually start in the NFL and be a very, very good long-tenured safety in the NFL. Now, tier 4 are the guys that I think are going to be mostly special teams players, but also players that might be able to get in on a little bit of a package, or, you know, might have certain plays that are built for them, but not necessarily full-time starters for a very long time, or if they do, they might not necessarily be the highest quality starters in the NFL. And these are guys that I think will definitely go in the NFL draft, but may not go as early as some people might think, and those are Smoke Monday and Bubba Bolden. I think both of them can play in the NFL. I think both of them will be rotational safeties at some point in their career, but I do believe they are going to be more of a special teams ace than necessarily a starting caliber safety. Again, I think they will rotate, I think they will get playing time, and I think they will get snaps at their natural safety positions. I think they will get snaps at their natural safety positions, but in my opinion, they just don't really stack up to the rest of this class, right? I think Smoke Monday and Bubba Bolden, although they're very good college football players, I just don't know how well they're going to transition to the NFL, and there are some concerns I do have about those two. Again, package players, right? Guys that will probably beat out Will Harris, will probably beat out CJ Moore, but likely won't beat out Kyle Hamilton or Tracy Walker, or, you know, even I would say like a JT Woods or Nick Cross if the time comes for those two to compete for a roster spot. Now, as far as best player available for this class, I think Kyle Hamilton is the best player, which would obviously make him the best safety in this class. But as far as value, I think JT Woods or Verone McKinley is one of the best value pickups in this class. I think you will get Verone McKinley somewhere in the late third, but you're going to get elite production out of that safety. I think you're going to get JT Woods on day 3, and again, I think you're still going to get very good production. Sterling Weatherford is getting a lot of hype very recently. To compare him to Kyle Hamilton, in my opinion, is a very, very big comparison that is not an easy one to make. So if he is anything like Kyle Hamilton, he could also be a sleeper pick. But with that being said, I think the best pick for the Lions, and I think the safety that will end up joining the Detroit Lions, is Kyle Hamilton. But with all that being said, that is all for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about the rankings down in the comments below. Where would you rank safeties? Would you move any of these guys to different tiers? Would you move any of these guys around? And of course, down in the comments below, let me know your safety rankings and where you have these guys pitted against one another. But with all that being said, that is all for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching, and until next time, and as always, go Lions!